I'm Kael Brooks, and I thought I had the perfect life. At 35, I'm a successful entrepreneur in Dallas, running a logistics firm with a cozy house in Highland Park, and Miranda, my wife of 8 years, the mother of our kids. Aiden, 10, and Sophia, 8, were my pride, bright and full of life. I worked hard to give them stability, planning a surprise for Miranda during her business trip to Las Vegas, flying out with the kids to meet her at her conference. I never imagined it would unravel everything. It was a Thursday when we landed, the Vegas heat hitting us as we piled into a rental car, kids buzzing with excitement. Miranda had been vague about her trip, some corporate event for her marketing firm, but I brushed it off, wanting to see her smile. We checked into the hotel, a sleek tower on the Strip, and I texted her, "Surprise. We're here, room 1204. Come see us." No reply. I figured she was busy, so we waited, Aiden playing on his tablet, Sophia drawing, until midnight. Still nothing. Friday morning, I called her office, excuse to check in. Her assistant stammered, Mrs. Brooks left early yesterday. Conference ended. My stomach tightened. I tracked her phone, active, pinging at a casino hotel, the Palms, not her official hotel. I left the kids with a sitter, drove over, heart pounding, and found her Miranda in a tight black dress, laughing with a man at the bar. David, her boss, 40, ruggedly handsome, suit impeccable, his hand on her lower back, too familiar, too intimate. I froze, while rising, as they moved to the elevator, her lips brushing his neck, his fingers tracing her waist. I followed, heart slamming, and caught them in the hallway, door ajar, her dress hiked up, his shirt off, their bodies pressed together, raw and electric. I burst in, voice breaking. "Miranda, what the hell?" She gasped, scrambling up, dress askew, David stepping back, smirking. "Kael, I can explain," she stammered, face flushed. "It's not." "Not what?" I roared, fist clenched. "You're screwing your boss while our kids wait for you?" Before she could answer, Aiden and Sophia's voices cut through, behind me, at the door, eyes wide, shocked. "Mommy," Sophia whispered, then, "Daddy David?" My blood ran cold. They knew. They called him Daddy David, a name I'd never heard, a bond one hadn't suspected. Miranda paled, pulling her dress straight. But David laughed, casual, infuriating. "Kids, go back to your room. Your mom and I need to talk." I turned, grabbing Aiden's shoulder, voice shaking. "No. We're leaving. Now." They followed, tearful, confused, and I drove back. Silence deafening, their words echoing Daddy David. At the hotel, I confronted Miranda again, kids in the next room. "How long?" "And the kids, why do they call him that?" She sobbed, collapsing on the bed. "Kael, I'm sorry. It started a year ago, late nights at work, David listening, caring. It grew. The kids, they met him, liked him. I didn't stop them. He's been more present than you, always traveling." "Present?" I barked, voice breaking. "He's your lover, Miranda. Our kids think he's their dad. How could you?" Before she could answer, my phone buzzed. My mother-in-law, June, voice smooth but cold. "Kael, I know about Miranda and David. Come to my suite. We need to talk." I stormed over, kids with a sitter, and found June in a lavish suite, wine in hand, eyes piercing. "You knew," I snapped. "You let this happen, our kids calling him Daddy. Why?" She sipped her wine, voice calm but cutting. "I've known for months, Kael. Miranda's unhappy, you're gone, buried in work. David's better for her, for them. I encouraged it. He's got pull, her promotion, our family's future. You're holding her back." I laughed, harsh and hollow, pacing. "Future? You're destroying us. The kids, my marriage, how can you?" June's eyes hardened. "Because I'm done, Kael. My husband, your father-in-law, left me nothing, cheated endlessly. I need control, power. David's firm is expanding, and Miranda's the key. You stay quiet, or I'll help them take everything, your business, your reputation." I ran, heart pounding, back to the hotel, where Miranda waited, tearful but defiant. "Kael, I love David. The kids do, too. Let us go, June's backing us. We're building something." I shook my head, grabbing my bag. "You're stealing my family, my life. I'm not done fighting." At home in Dallas, I checked Miranda's laptop, still logged in. Passcode our anniversary, 0526, sentimental and predictable. I found emails, hers and David's, detailing a corporate takeover, siphoning funds from my firm, using my name. My stomach dropped. This wasn't just an affair. It was theft, a betrayal that could ruin me. I called my partner, Greg, voice urgent. Greg, Miranda and David, they're stealing, using my firm, my name. The kids, they're calling him Dad. June's in on it. Greg's silence was heavy. Kael, I've suspected irregularities, missing contracts, odd withdrawals. If they're framing you, we need proof, fast. But you're tied to this. Be careful. I hung up, mind racing, and drove to June's house in Highland Park, confronting her. You're helping them ruin me, my kids, my business. What? She smiled, cold and confident. Because you're weak, Kael. Miranda deserves better, and I deserve control. David's taking your firm, your life. Join us, or I'll bury you. Scandal, divorce, everything. I backed away, heartbreaking, but the twist came as I left. Aiden's text, ignored in my rage. Dad, Grandma says you're bad. We're with Mommy and Daddy David. Help us. My son, my life, gone, turned against me by their lies. But that plea, help us, ignited a fire. They weren't just betraying me. They were trapping my kids, and I had to save them. Even if it destroyed us all. Aiden's text. Dad, Grandma says you're bad. We're with Mommy and Daddy David. Help us. Burned in my phone, a lifeline buried in their betrayal. I sat in my Highland Park study, hands trembling, the hum of Dallas traffic outside a distant roar. My kids, my life, were caught in Miranda's web with David, and June was pulling the strings, turning them against me. That plea, help us, ignited a fire I couldn't ignore. I called Greg, my partner, voice urgent. Greg, Miranda and David are stealing from the firm, using my name, my codes. The kids are with them, calling him Daddy. June's behind it. We need to secure the books, get proof. Damn, Kael, Greg said, voice tight. I've seen the discrepancies, missing contracts, odd withdrawals. If June's involved, it's personal. I'll lock down the servers, call our lawyer, but you're tied to this. Lay low, gather evidence. I hung up, mind racing, and drove to June's house, determined to confront her. She opened the door, elegant in a silk blouse, wine glass in hand, eyes cold. Kael, back already? She purred, voice smooth but menacing. Where are my kids? I snapped, stepping inside. Aiden texted, says you're turning them against me, calling me bad. What are you doing? She sipped her wine, sitting on the couch, legs crossed. They're with Miranda and David, where they belong. You're gone too much, Kael. Work, trips. David's been their father figure, and I've encouraged it. He's better for them, for her. I'm protecting my family. Protecting? I roared, pacing. You're destroying us. They're stealing from my firm, framing me, and you're letting the kids call him Dad. How could you? June's eyes hardened, voice low. Because I'm done, Kael. My husband, your father-in-law, cheated, left me broke. I need control, power. David's firm is expanding, and Miranda's the key. Your kids love him. Let them go, or I'll help them take everything. Your business, your reputation. I shook my head, backing toward the door, but the seed of doubt grew. I tailed Miranda, driving to a luxury condo in Uptown, David's place, I realized. I parked across the street, peering through the window, her in a tight dress, him shirtless, pressed together on the couch, their intimacy raw, electric, a slap in my face. The kids were there, laughing, calling him Daddy David, their voices cutting deeper than any knife. I snapped photos, hands shaking, but June appeared beside me, voice low. Enough, Kael. They're happy. Sign over your firm's stake to David, and we'll spare you the scandal. Fight, and I'll bury you. I ran, tires screeching, heart pounding, back to my house, checking Miranda's laptop, still logged in, passcode our anniversary, 0526. I found emails, hers and David's, detailing a corporate takeover, siphoning millions from my firm, using my name. My stomach dropped. This was theft, a betrayal that could ruin me, and my kids were hostages. I called Nate, my PI, voice urgent. Nate, track Miranda and David, Uptown condo. June's helping them steal my firm, turning my kids. We need proof, fast. On it, Nate said calm. I'll tap their phones, check surveillance. But Kael, they've got muscle. David's firm's got resources, June's ruthless. Stay cautious. That night, I confronted Miranda at the condo, kids asleep inside. I burst in, voice raw. You're stealing my life, my firm, my kids. Why, Miranda? She paled, pulling her dress straight. David stepping forward, smirking. Kael, it's business, she said, voice trembling but defiant. David offered me a future. You couldn't. The kids love him, and June backs us. Sign the firm over, and we'll let you walk away. Walk away, I roared, lunging at David, fists flying. We crashed into a table, glass shattering, Miranda screaming, "Stop it!" I pinned him, panting, blood trickling from his lip. You took my wife, my kids, my family. He shoved me off, voice cold. They chose me, Kael. June's right, you're out. Sign, or we'll frame you. Embezzlement, abuse, everything. I stumbled back, heart breaking, and left, driving to a bar, drowning in whiskey, mind spinning. June called at midnight, voice smug. Kael, it's over. David's filing tomorrow. Your firm, your name, gone. The kids are ours. Run, or we'll bury you. I hung up, but Aiden's text flashed again to help us. Dad? Grandma's lying. We miss you. My chest tightened. They weren't just betraying me. They were trapping my kids, and I had to save them. I called Holt, Detective Karen Holt from Dallas PD, who'd helped before. Karen, Miranda, David, and June, they're stealing my firm, holding my kids. I've got photos, emails. Raid the condo, now. Holt promised action, but I knew the risk. They were desperate. At dawn, Dallas PD raided the condo. Miranda, David, and June gone, leaving behind laptops, cash, forged documents. Holt called, voice grim. We've got enough to charge them, embezzlement, coercion, possible custody interference. But they vanished, likely with new IDs. The kids' testimony is key. Where are they? My blood ran cold. The kids gone with them? I drove back, frantic, and found a note under my door. They're safe with us, Kael. Join David's deal, or you'll never see them again. My hands shook. They'd taken Aiden and Sophia, framed me, and now they were holding them hostage. That note, they're safe with us, Kael. Join David's deal, or you'll never see them again. Tore through me like a storm. I stood in my empty Highland Park house, the kids' toys scattered, silence deafening, my hands shaking as I clutched it. Aiden and Sophia, my life, were gone, taken by Miranda, David, and June, their betrayal now a kidnapping. But that plea in Aiden's text, help us, Dad. Grandma's lying. Ignited a resolve I couldn't ignore. I called Holt, voice urgent. Karen, they've taken my kids, Miranda, David, June. The note says they're safe, but it's a ransom. I've got photos, emails, the note. Raid their last known spot, the uptown condo, now. On it, Kael, Holt said, firm but tense. We've got the evidence, but they're slippery fake IDs, cash. I'll coordinate with Dallas PD, but you need to stay calm. We'll find them. I hung up, heart pounding, and met Nate at a diner off I-35, his laptop open, surveillance footage looping. They left the condo fast, Nate said, voice low. Miranda's phone's off, but I tracked David's burner to a private airstrip, heading to Houston, maybe further. June's got ties there, her sister's property. The kids were with them, Kael. They're using them as leverage. My stomach dropped. Houston? I called Greg, my partner, voice raw. Greg, they're in Houston, Miranda, David, June, with my kids. They're stealing the firm, framing me. Lock down our accounts, get legal on it. Already on it, Greg said, grim. I've frozen what I can, but your name's still tied to the breaches. Lawyers are prepping a countersuit, but we need the kids' location. Stay safe. I flew to Houston, arriving at dusk, renting a car, and tracked Nate's lead, a gated estate in River Oaks, June's sister's place. I parked across the street, peering through the trees, Miranda in a tight dress, David shirtless, pressed together on a patio, their intimacy raw, electric, a slap in my face. The kids were there, playing by the pool, calling him Daddy David, their voices cutting deeper than any knife. I snapped photos, hands shaking, but a guard spotted me, rushing out. Leave, he barked, and I fled, tires screeching, heart racing. I called Holt, voice breaking. River Oaks Estate, my kids are there, armed guards. Raid it, now. Holt moved fast, coordinating with Houston PD. They stormed the estate at midnight, shouts, sirens, chaos. I watched from a distance, praying, as they dragged out David and Miranda, cuffed and furious. June slipped away, but Aiden and Sophia ran to me, tearful, clinging. Dad. Sophia sobbed. We missed you. Grandma said you were bad, but we knew you'd come. I held them, relief flooding me, but Holt approached, grim. We've got David and Miranda charges for embezzlement, coercion, kidnapping. But June's gone, likely with new IDs. The kid's testimony will help, but she's still a threat. My stomach dropped. June, the mastermind, had escaped. I took the kids to a safe house, their stories spilling out, Miranda and David coaching them to call him Dad, June threatening them to stay quiet. She said you'd lose us, Dad, Aiden whispered, eyes red. But we didn't believe her. I nodded, but the twist came hours later, a call from an unknown number. June's voice, smug. Kael, you got them back for now. But I'm not done. David's firm will crush you, and I'll take the kids again. Join us, or they're mine. I hung up, heart pounding, and met Holt at the safe house. June's still out there, threatening my kids. We need to find her. Stop this now. Holt promised a manhunt, but I knew the risk. They were desperate. I hired round-the-clock security for Aiden and Sophia, moving them to a new location, while I dug deeper June's sister's accounts, David's emails. I found it, a transfer to a Cayman account, linked to a Vegas casino, June's next move. I called Holt, voice urgent. Vegas casino, June's laundering there. Track it, rate it. Holt coordinated with Vegas PD, raiding the casino 2 days later, June gone, but cash and documents seized, proving her role. Holt called, voice grim. We've got the money trail, Kael. Charges will stick for David and Miranda, but June's vanished. The kids are safe, but she's a ghost. I exhaled, holding Aiden and Sophia tight. But the war wasn't over. My firm was battered, my marriage destroyed, but I had my kids. A year later, we rebuilt, therapy helping, but a letter arrived, postmarked Vegas, no return address. Inside, a photo of June with David, dated last week. We're not done, Kael. The kids are ours when they're ready. Join us, or we'll take them back. I stared at it, whiskey in hand, heart pounding. They weren't defeated. The betrayal, the scheme, it wasn't over. It was just beginning. But this time, I'd protect my family, whatever the cost. That photo from Vegas, June and David, smirking, dated last week, hit me like a freight train. We're not done, Kael. The kids are ours when they're ready. Join us, or we'll take them back. I sat in my rebuilt Highland Park home, whiskey in hand, Aiden and Sophia asleep upstairs under heavy security. A year had passed since the Houston raid, their voices, Daddy David, still echoing, but I'd fought to reclaim them, my firm, my life. Yet the threat lingered, a shadow I couldn't escape. I called Holt, voice urgent. Karen, June's back, Vegas photo, threatening my kids. We need to track her, protect Aiden and Sophia, now. Already on it, Kael, Holt said, firm but weary. Vegas PD found the casino lead, but she's a ghost, new IDs, cash. I've got agents monitoring, but you need to keep the kids secure. No risks. I nodded, heart pounding, and met Nate at a coffee shop, his laptop open. June's in deep, Nate said, voice low. Her sister's accounts show transfers to a shell company in Miami, David's firm's next move. The kids are the leverage. She'll strike when they're vulnerable, like school or events. My stomach dropped. Miami? I called Greg, my partner, voice raw. Greg, June's in Miami, planning to take the kids. We need to fortify the firm, sue David's company, cut their cash flow. Working on it, Greg said, grim. We've got a countersuit ready, but your name's still tied to the breaches. Lawyers are pushing, but June's got connections. Stay vigilant. I hired more security, moving Aiden and Sophia to a safe house with round-the-clock guards, while I flew to Miami, tracking leads. I found the shell company's office, a nondescript building in South Beach, windows tinted. I parked across the street, peering through binoculars. David, shirtless, muscles taut, Miranda in a tight dress, pressed against him on a balcony, their intimacy raw, electric. June stood by, elegant in black, directing, her eyes sharp. The kids weren't there, but a guard patrolled, armed. I snapped photos, hands shaking, but a man approached, another guard. Leave now, he barked, and I fled, tires screeching, heart racing. I called Holt, voice breaking. South Beach office, David, Miranda, June. Armed guards. Rate it, find my kids. Holt moved fast, coordinating with Miami PD. They stormed the office at dawn, shouts, sirens, chaos. They dragged out David and Miranda, cuffed and furious, But June slipped away, leaving behind laptops, cash, forged documents. Holt called, voice grim. We've got David and Miranda. Charges for embezzlement, coercion, attempted kidnapping. But June's gone, likely with new IDs. The kids weren't there. Check your safe house. My blood ran cold. I raced back to Dallas, finding Aiden and Sophia safe, guarded, tearful. Dad, we heard Grandma on the phone, Sophia whispered. She said she'd get us back. I held them, relief flooding me. But the war wasn't over. Holt approached, grim. David and Miranda are talking. June's the mastermind, using them to bait you. She's planning a custody grab, leveraging their love for the kids. We've frozen assets, but she's still out there. I nodded, but the twist came days later, a call from an unknown number. June's voice, smug. Kael, you won this round, but I'm not done. David's firm will crush you, and I'll take the kids when they're 18, legally, if I must. Join us, or they're mine. I hung up, heart pounding, and met Holt at the safe house. June's threatening custody when they're 18. We need to find her, in this, now. Holt promised a nationwide manhunt, but I knew the risk. They were patient, dangerous. I dug deeper. June's sister's emails, David's texts, finding a pattern. A condo in Atlanta, her next hideout. I called Holt, voice urgent. Atlanta condo, track it, rate it. Holt coordinated with Atlanta PD, raiding the condo a week later. June gone, but evidence seized. Custody plans, forged documents, a diary detailing her revenge against me for Matt's father's infidelity. Holt called, voice grim. We've got the paper trail, Kael. Charges will stick for David and Miranda, but June's vanished. The kids are safe, but she's a threat until she's caught. I exhaled, holding Aiden and Sophia tight, but the final blow came months later. A letter, postmarked Atlanta, no return address. Inside, a photo of June with a lawyer, dated last week. I'm coming for them, Kael. 18 is my deadline. Join David's deal, or they're mine. My hands shook. She wasn't defeated. The betrayal, the scheme, it wasn't over. It was just beginning. I stared at the photo, whiskey in hand, heart pounding. With Matt's firm stabilized, security tightened, and Emily in therapy, I'd fight. June would return, but I'd protect my kids, outsmart her, even if it cost me everything. This time I was ready.